stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers Speakers. I'm your host, June Foster. We don't have a final yet, but we're going to get started. I mean, this game it's been over for a little while.
Finito.
I've been setting up for a minute. So last time I checked, the lines were up 47-9 with about 3 minutes left. Bittersweet day. We saw our best defensive player, Hutch, get carted off. What I saw was some kind of break. And it may have been his ankle, I believe. It was something. And the ironic thing about it, it happened on a sack. So he went out with the sack, and it's just crazy. My prayers go up to Hutch. I know he'll be back stronger when he does come back. That kind of blew my high, man. Kind of blew my high, but the fan base, man. The fan base is saying, it's over. This, that, no. That's the first thing I saw, bro. And it's like, this team is so much better than one player. Like, it's going to be a tougher road without Hutch, and you can't replace Hutch. But man, this team, we have a good football team.
Yeah. That injury definitely took the wind out of our sails. When I heard, because I wasn't paying attention when it happened, so I started seeing text messages before, because of course they went to commercial break. I think they went to 2 commercial breaks before.
It was about a 15-minute break, bro.
Was it that? Yeah, I mean,
it was that long.
Yeah. But yeah, it gave me that same heart drop that I felt right after the Tigers lost. But we already had issues as far as pass rushing was concerned, as far as getting it done on the opposite end of Hutch. So it's going to be a tough task to replace him. But I honestly feel like the team is going to rally behind him. The defensive line played amazing today.
Interior line played very well.
Yeah. I mean, which the interior has, has throughout the year, but I mean, everybody was getting home. McNeil had several sacks. Pascal was right there a lot of the times. Wingo has been around. They actually just forced another fumble, as we speak, with Jack Campbell and Wingo. But yeah, I think that the effort that the defensive line showed you today is what they are capable of and what they're going to have to do on a daily basis as we, just rally around our best player. We've seen some injuries in the past. Branch has been in and out sometimes. Barnes is down right now, but this is definitely the most impactful injury that we've seen from the Lions in the last couple of years. I mean, Brown has been relatively healthy. Goff, I don't even want to talk about, but yeah, this is the most impactful injury that we've had to overcome. And we'll get into the recaps, as far as the particulars. But this team is definitely going to rally around their leader. And it's all this. It was a good season and all that bull crap. I mean,
I ain't buying it.
Fuck out of here.
I ain't buying it. I mean, he's going to be missed. No doubt about it. It hurts to lose Hutch. He's our best defensive player. It hurts. However, there have been games where, Hutch has been silent, and we've won those games. And I'm not saying there's not a knock to Hutch. I'm just saying other people have stepped up. And I'm a firm believer in next man up. because football's a tough sport. People get injured every day, B. You got to be ready. And no matter who it is, you have to be ready. Now, if you have a game where 2 or 3 key players get hurt for the year, then I'll panic. But this team, man, I mean, we can keep scoring 40. We ain't gonna need no defense out there, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you didn't even want to say that with full confidence. You're like,
You know what I'm saying? Who needs defense? We putting up 40.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on. I forgot, man. I got to do this up. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers, y'all. That's the YouTube channel. We're trying to get it over 200 subscribers. I've been saying this for a long time. We're trying to get over 200 subscribers, and we're not there. Please subscribe to the channel. And on all podcast aggregators, you can follow us at Bleachers and Speakers FFSN. And just make sure you hit the notification bell, follow us, so that when we drop content, you'll get an alert, and we want you to download those episodes. And we appreciate those who have been doing that. Back to the summary. Foster, I've seen a lot of great things today. Let's just throw the thing out with Hutch, because that'll dampen anyone's day. But Goff didn't have a perfect day today. He was only 18 of 25. Hey, I mean, he has to do better.
And I jinxed the drop. J-Mo had a bad drop ball, hit him right in the
But
chest.
he went right back to him.
I love it.
Same play. I believe it was the same play.
Same route, same-ish route.
It was the same route for sure. Went right back to him. No problem. The grit to go back, because I'm gonna use grit a lot. The grit to go back to him and say, "Hey, I believe in you. You drop that one. You're not gonna drop this one." Boom.
Yeah, he put the pressure on him, because a lot of times it's still lingering in your mind. You're like, and he
right back.
And he put the pressure, like, "Hey, catch the." And that's the way the day went, pretty much. Whatever we wanted to do, we did. We just scored at will on him. If it was
every way, intermediate routes, bombs, running the ball,
end arounds,
even threw in a hook and lateral to Sewell, which I mean, there was a touchdown that was called back for a pick play. Now, I've seen worse picks, not called, but I mean, if you're doing a pick play and your receiver is running and bumps into somebody, they're calling that a foul, a flag. They're throwing the flag. And it's like, I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it where they deliberately ran into someone and threw up their hands and they didn't call anything. So
they threw him a bone. They gave him a,
It was a mercy flag, I think. It was like, okay, he ain't gonna do this. But the defense created turnovers. Kirby at the end of the game got another interception in the end zone. It would have been his second one. It was a lot of defensive holding calls in the first quarter, which really, really irritated me. Those calls, it was one by Branch, and I think it was two by...
Did Branch get one?
Branch got one.
Okay. I know Campbell got one.
They said it was on Branch, but it was actually Anzalone. I take that back.
It was Anzalone.
Yeah, it was Anzalone. But it was Anzalone. And the thing is, one of them, they went to the actual receiver. It went to the receiver that they called the play on. But the other one, it wasn't going to it. It wasn't going towards the receiver. It had nothing to do with it. It's like, come on, man. Come on, bro. And it was like, golly. And I'm looking up Foster, and I'm seeing the score. I'm seeing 9 points. I'm seeing 3 points. I'm seeing 6 points. They wouldn't let them get in the end zone. That first drive was the best drive of the game, where Dallas got the ball and drove right down the field, but they held them to a field goal.
Mind you, the one of the first plays of the game was where Anzalone gets his hand in there, tips the ball, and it just lands in the running back's hands.
Bro.
Like they had a little bit of luck of the Irish early in the game.
Yeah,
that was like, that that was no fault of anybody's. That was
That
just
was just that running back was at the right place at the right time, caught a
absolutely.
deflection and ran for 16 yards, and it was like, "Come on, is this how we gonna do it
That
today?"
is like, is this how we doing it today? Like,
And then they drove down the field after that. I think CeeDee Lamb got a pass after that, and I
the
think
one-handed catch. Yeah,
yeah,
they had it rolling a little bit early,
and it
but
was like, okay, it's gonna be that type of day, okay. And then the Lions get the ball, and they're on 3rd and 5, and they throw a 46-yard pass to Patrick. Like, I'm like, the grit. You go 45 yards downfield to Patrick, and he makes a phenomenal. And they wasn't going to call no kind of penalty. It was
but
a
there
lot of
yeah.
it was a lot of contact on it, and they wasn't going to call. He made a play, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was a great catch. So it was like, wow. So to go deep after this is the very beginning of the game. Dallas goes down. They drive down the field. They're at home. You hold them to a field goal. But however, on your next trip, you're at 3 and 5, and you go 45 yards. That's crazy. What up, Jody? Jody gives up the fire emojis. Hey, man, I know you watched the game, Jody. We're gonna miss Hutch, but it was built to ass. I am sorry. Excuse my French, but this was a whooping. This was just as bad as New Orleans gave them that one week 1, right?
Yeah, and then the Tampa Bay late hung up at 51 on them just to put it all in perspective.
Man. I you know what? I was watching part of that game, right? And they went 27. They was up 27-24. The Saints were, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this I can't believe this. And they just went on that spree. Jody says he only saw the second half. That was plenty to see. And he said, what happened to Hutch? Hutch went out on a cart, and he was on the ground for a long time being tended to. It was at least 15 minutes. It looked to me like he broke his ankle. It was they put the camera on him, and he said it's broke. You know, so that
he mouthed that.
He mouthed it. It's broke, and the announcer
Wow.
said it. He said it. So, I think that's a lot better than a torn ACL.
ACLs you bounce back from pretty fast. I mean, when I say fast,
ACL is about a year. A broken bone could be 2 months. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't expect him back this year. I hate to say it.
Yeah, 2024, he's definitely done for. 2024.
Yeah, I mean, it's only So hey, who knows though? I mean, he could be back for the Super. Oh, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, it was a serious injury. It kind of ruined the moment. It killed the whole vibe and energy of the game. Because you saw Dallas Cowboys players crying, you saw them praying, you saw Goff damn near in tears. You saw a lot of people that was sad on the field because Hutch is a good guy. So yeah, it's bitter. It was a bittersweet day. More bitter than sweet. I mean, we can win a football game. You know, we can't afford to lose Hutch. So that was bad. We got to do a full report when we get the word sometime this week, Foster. And then I think it would only be right if we figured out what can we do? What can the Lions do? You know, to try to make up for this loss. I mean, you can't replace a Hutch, but you know, it's easy to say, go do this, go trade this one. Look, the teams that let's take a quick break, and I'm gonna tell you some of the things I saw and read, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of perspective of what I'm saying. Okay, so the first thing I saw was go get Reddick, right? Trade a third and a fifth round and this, that, and other. Go get Reddick,
I
right?
think I saw that post even.
Then I saw go get Crosby. Go get this, go get that. These teams that you're mentioning with these players, they have leverage, right?
Right now they do for sure.
Right now they have leverage. We got something that you need and want. We're not going to give them up for a football. It's going to cost you. Now, it's just how much are you willing to salvage? Now, me personally, I think this team is young enough and position wise set to give up a first round draft pick. Because you're not going to pick you're going to pick around in the 20s. But I also say this. You're going to pay for Crosby and Reddick. Even though Reddick's not point. Have you seen Crosby's contract? It's insane.
Is it pretty crazy?
It's pretty big. It's insane.
Is he so he's secured in his contract? We're just paying what's already been negotiated.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
For sure. But the thing is, you're not going to get him for a box of cream of wheat and a football. You're going to get just same with Reddick. Reddick doesn't even play, but I guarantee you that's a bargaining chip for the Jets. The Jets need Jesus. They're not going to give him away. So how much are you willing to salvage for a replacement for Hutch? Because I don't think there's anybody out there good as Hutch with a team that's willing to part with them.
Yeah. As far as the clean replacement, no. But we didn't even see James Houston today, but it's gonna look.
Can we stop with the Houston talk?
No, but my point is, my point is, despite the fact that we're already shorthanded with like Marcus Davenport, mind you, Marcus Davenport was the other starting edge.
But it's not fair, dog. I'm sorry.
But despite of that, Houston still doesn't touch the field. I mean,
Ain't that crazy? You done lost both your starting edge rushers, and he's not even considered to get a snap.
And he may have, but
we didn't see him today.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't personally with my eyes.
I don't think he was out there, Foss. We didn't see him today. We haven't seen him. We saw him maybe a little bit when Davenport went down. You're down.
I saw him last or the in the Seattle game.
That's what I'm saying. After Davenport went down, you might have seen him, but we didn't see him today. You're down 2 starters at defensive end. What's the problem? Do we got a final yet?
Yeah, we probably do, but it's probably let me see if I can find it here. 47-9 was the final.
Okay, 47-9 was the final. The Lions did not give up a touchdown. That's what I wanted to know. Didn't give up a touchdown. I haven't paid much attention to Dallas this year, and I don't know how they're doing as far. I know they're not running the ball very well.
They're 3-3 right now.
I'm talking about as far as offense. How's their offense been looking on?
The passing wise, they've been really strong.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been really strong passing wise. They just weren't able to run. I think they were like top 5 actually ranked. Lamb and Tolbert and Jake.
That number 9 guy was pretty good. Number 9, number 1. I don't remember their names, but they're pretty good at wideouts.
Yeah,
but yeah. Hey man, I can't. Hey man, when Demo was making plays today, I said, yeah, he deserved that check.
Yeah, it was like he's like, all right, I'm gonna show y'all why I'm worth it.
Early Montgomery, this game showed you why. Okay, I'm worth every penny.
Yeah, he set the tone.
Yeah,
and he has been setting the tone in general. He always is the first out on that first drive, and then after he, just destroys the defense, they got to deal with a almost equally dangerous, probably more dangerous running back in Gibbs. I mean that first drive, especially when he's fresh, he hasn't, the jersey is still clean on the sideline, and then you got a guy that's gonna not only run you over, he's gonna run away from you too. Those cutbacks are lethal. So um, I don't know what teams are gonna do. We're certainly gonna have to score more points now without Hutch, but I think they're up for the task because like you said, that bomb that he threw, that bomb that he threw early on, on 3rd and 5, it just shows the trust that Goff has in it shows the trust that he has in Tim Patrick, who he's only been working with for maybe a month and a half. So
yeah. Jody asks, how Laporta do? Laporta had one catch for 52 yards, but it was a touchdown on a trick play. And so he contribute. I want to read some of these stat lines too. Dave Montgomery, 12 rushes, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 rushes, 63 yards. Receiving wise, J-Mo, 3 catches, 76 yards, touchdown. Khalif Raymond, 4 catches, 73 yards. Tim Patrick, 3 catches, 68 yards. He's spreading that ball around. St. Brown had 4 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown, and Laporta had that 1 catch for 52 yards. He's spreading the ball around. Now, Foster, the only thing I worry about, Foster, when you do this, I tend to worry about a receiver saying, I don't get my touches, right? I don't see that so far.
I was going to say, I don't think, what's crazy? Jameson Williams has more passing reception yards than St. Brown right now. Just because obviously he's more of a home run threat. He's gonna hit you for the 50, 60 yarders. But yeah, I don't think we have that type of team. There's enough. I believe there's enough balls to go around, and as long as we continue to win, I don't think anybody's gonna complain. Because at any moment, your number is gonna be called, and Laporta's been quiet all year. I think he's still a little nicked up. I saw him stretching his hamstring on the sideline, but yeah, the catch he made, the one catch he made was huge in itself. So
yeah, it was a 52-yarder where he had to run a little bit of ways.
It looked like he was like, oh, is he gonna make it? Like it was.
He looked like he was running out of gas a little bit, but Jody says, I love them winning, but I may not ever be able to afford to go to a game now.
Man.
Hey, man, this is what we wanted, though, right?
Not like.
I mean, we wanted to win
like this.
I'm just saying, winning teams, they're gonna charge the fee.
It's not a cheap date anymore. You got to go dolo damn near now.
Nah. Jody said the offensive playbook is crazy. You know what? And you know what? When they did the hook and ladder to Sewell, I said, "Oh my gosh, he pulling out all the stops." Like,
yeah,
what?
My boy, he came over from Instagram.
Yeah, Troy. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but Troy says, "What's your thought on replacing Hutch? Do we go all out and try to get Max Crosby or a cheaper option?" I'm glad you. We talked about this a little earlier, but we'll talk again because it's worthy of talking about. My opinion is it just depends on what you mean by all out. I mean, I don't think we could. I wouldn't trade anyone off the team personnel wise.
That's not usually what happens, anyways.
Yeah, but like, you would have to give up either a first or second round draft pick to get Crosby, right? I think Max Crosby is a hell of a talent, and I think that would be like the best case scenario if you're going to replace Hutch with a defensive end, is getting someone like Crosby. Are you? But the thing is, how much are you willing to salvage for that? Like I said, these other teams have leverage. The Raiders, they need all the draft picks they can get. So they might be saying, hey, we'll give you Crosby. We want a first and second round draft pick. Do you do that?
I mean, the Raiders have leverage, but at the same time, they don't because they're in a position where they have something that we want, but at the same time, it's like it's not going to help your team to hold on. It may not necessarily help your team to hold on to a guy like that. So you only have so much that you can hang over our heads. It's interesting because those rumors have been swirling even when we knew Aiden Hutchinson to be 100% healthy.
Yeah.
Um, but we are in a position to where our window of opportunity to win a Super Bowl is now. So draft picks aren't as important
They're not.
as players that we need. And with the fact that we're down 2 starting edge rushers, I mean, I think maybe you just you play it by ear the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we got the Vikings coming up. We got some tough games coming up. Actually, I think we get a little break. We get a little break after the Vikings. I think we play somebody that's not so good, but we're just it's something to keep an eye on because I think you bring in an impactful player like a Crosby, and you're right back in the driver's seat where you
Mhm.
were. But I mean, Hutch is going to affect us on all 3 levels. Hutch's presence helps the linebackers. It helps the secondary because he has so many pressures. He's a pretty impactful player overall. So I think that I think if there was ever a time, because even last year they wanted us to go out and get a impactful corner, an impactful edge rusher outside of him. So it's even more imperative that we have a guy like that now. So you might see us take a chance and kind of go against what we're used to in building through the draft. We're not building anymore.
No.
Now it's about putting guys on the field right now that can take us to the next level.
Well, another thing when I talk regards to leverage, right, Foss, there's other teams that could use Max Crosby's uh, talent that won't be picking that will be picking in the top 10.
Higher, yeah, you're right.
So
You're right.
so they have the leverage of being patient to see if Crosby's on the chopping block. You can call around. You can call a Carolina Panthers team that, what I'm saying, something like that. Someone that's going to say, okay, we'll trade you our first pick, or not necessarily Carolina Panthers, because I think they're going to have the number 1 pick again.
Yeah.
But you can
Yeah.
go to a Cleveland Browns team that's, say, hey, we can trade you this person, and he would be a lovely addition to them because their defense was is the best part of their team,
Mhm.
and you say, hey, we'll give you a first round pick for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's so much, like if you haven't done it already or haven't tried to do it, I think it's going to be very difficult to land somebody like Crosby. Now, does that mean that you can't get anybody? No, I think the best viable the best thing to try to do is to try to pick up somebody that's pretty decent in free agent. Now, I don't know if there is anybody out there worth getting, but free agency would probably be the easiest way. Um, you might find a defensive edge rusher that's a role player that has potential that you could trade for, but you're not going to get a top flight type of replacement on a whim.
I'll be right. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Troy, I think you do whatever you can. I just don't think those opportunities will be there. I do think you do what you got to do to get, because if you want to salvage your future, put it like this: the Lions have a first round draft pick, right? They're going to be picking like in the 20s. So if we maintain the course, so we're not going to get a high first round. Do you trade that pick? Of course you do. Of course you do. Um, you might even want to give up a first and a third. I don't think you'll give up a first and a second though. But yeah, you might do that. Jody said he had to take trash out. Uh, for future reference, can he wait until after the show to do all what he has to do, man?
You
But,
said I? Oh, he said I had to take a
Jody.
trash.
Jody. Jody said you had to take trash out, so I just make But yeah, I do think you do what you can to get someone in place, and the only reason I say you do what you can is because you're down 2 starting defensive edge rushers, so you need 2 defensive ends. Both your starters are down. And I know there's a man in Minnesota right now. He lives in Texas, but it's a Minnesota fan that's happy as hell Hutch is out next week.
Well, I don't want to put that on him, but I
Oh,
get,
I'm gonna
I
put
get,
that on
I
him.
get. You put okay. All right. Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he though? Like, you don't have to face him. Like I was happy Mika Parsons wasn't playing today. It is what it is.
He's okay though. He's okay.
I don't wish injuries against nobody, but
Right.
but we don't have to face them. That's a bonus. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is what it is. Injuries happen. There's any team can get a significant injury like that. It just, it can happen with the snap of a football. Something can happen. So, but Foster, this offense, we talked about this. I said it was going to take a couple weeks for this offense to be what it is. And has it arrived yet, Foster?
Oh yeah, it's beyond arrived. I think,
Has the last 2 weeks been a fluke? Is this what we're going to see?
nah, yeah, this is we saw this a lot of last year. They pretty much followed the game plan that we set up for them, because that was our idea. But no, we controlled the line of scrimmage. Montgomery had 2 touchdowns. He established the run early in the game. They protected Goff for the most part.
Yeah.
He threw for 300 yards today and 3 touchdowns.
He had 7 incompletions though. We got
He did mess up a lot. Nah, he did have some incompletions. We had a drop, but yeah, more trick plays, and he moved that ball around. JMO got a touchdown. St. Brown got a touchdown, and Laporta got a touchdown. So all the all the guys that we expect to step up did step up.
Yeah. And I can't say enough about David Montgomery. It's like he sets the tone early, and then everything else opens up.
Yeah.
Like, Dallas had. Jody asks, how many turnovers did Dallas have? Let's see. There was 2 fumbles.
No.
2 fumbles and 2 interceptions. Yeah, 4 turnovers.
No. Wait a minute. Branch had 2 picks. Kirby Joseph had 1 pick, and they had and then they had
2 fumbles, 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
It was two. That was Branch punched the ball, forced 1,
Right.
and there was the one I didn't see that happened when we started the show.
Yep.
So
I forgot about that one. Yeah, Branch had the game of his life.
Branch had a great game. He wanted that touchdown at the end.
How did he had it?
He got caught from behind.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't clear though. He had to weave in and out. You know,
he just had that head of steam where it was like, nah, no one's stopping him. Like,
yeah, that's great. They did play great defense. What they did, Jody, in the first half, the first drive of the game, that was the best drive of the game for Dallas. They drove right down the field. The Lions held them to a field goal, and that was the best drive of the game they had all game long. The defense played their hearts out. There was a lot of defensive holding penalties in the first quarter. They cleaned that up. I was surprised they didn't call anything on Terrion Arnold on that 1 4th down play.
What, the one where he kind of went over his back to make the?
Mhm.
I think I mean, he's kind of been targeted, so you would expect it, but I think
That's
he
the only
did.
reason.
Right,
That's the
right,
only
right.
reason.
Because he made a pretty good play on the ball
I thought it
itself.
was a good play, but
Yeah,
when they're watching you, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
yeah. It's like when you're in school. It's like when you're in school and you usually one that's talking or throwing papers across the class. You the first one they're gonna accuse when something happens. So
For sure. For sure.
yeah,
For
he getting
sure.
out of that. He's getting out of that principal's office. So I think as time has moved on, even though it's been very glaring with the penalties, I think he's fared better as far as how he's being targeted and the actual um completed targets. Now, granted, when you hold, you're gonna there's also gonna be a lot more incompletions when you're holding guys and stuff like that. But um I think that he's going to over time develop a respect. Um, he's going to develop a respect because he was a top notch corner coming out, um, it's his time is coming to start to get those interceptions, especially when you got two of the best safeties in the league. I'll just say it like that. Back
Yeah,
there,
for sure.
so he'll have the ability to be more aggressive underneath, knowing the guys behind him are going to hold him down.
Yeah, let's take another quick break, Foster. This is moving by pretty fast. The Detroit Lions defeat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas 47-9. Big loss to losing Hutch, today. However, Foster, this win feels good. Dallas has been troublesome to us over the past few years in playoff games and regular season games. So I think they were trying to make a statement today with this win. You know, I mean, you saw them up double digits and going for it on 4th down. You saw them throwing pass plays, and the game was out of reach, but they kept pressing on. There wasn't 3 handoffs and see what happens. They were trying to move the ball, even though they were up. Like it was, it was the game was over. I think in the first half, what was it 27-6 at half, 24-6 at half, something like that.
It was spooky. It was spooky
Yeah,
for them, anyways.
yeah. So I think uh, the Lions definitely kept pressing forward. They didn't let up. They wasn't going to let up, and it was a great victory despite of what happened to Hutch. And I'm also a firm believer that it's going to be okay as far as trying to like you can't replace Aiden Hutchinson, but you can scheme better. It might be a hungry person in that defensive locker room that say, hey, that makes them play better. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of position, it might be players that's going to rally around it. So I think I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. I'm not ready to say this is going to cost us or anything. It's going to hurt like it would hurt any other team that lost their best defensive player. However, I think the mission is still the same. And I still think it's within reach. But we got Minnesota next week. That's a 1:00 game as well.
Oh, thank God! Finally.
Yeah, it's a 1:00 game. I am ready for this game. Um, they they have a pretty good passing attack. They mix it in with Aaron Jones running the ball a little bit. I think we're up for the task, though. Watching Brian Branch out there today, watching Kirby Joseph out there today. Kirby Joseph would have had 2 picks today. There was one that was called back for a defensive holding,
Right.
but he would have had 2. Well, who knows if he would have got that pick, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's but yeah, it was a great day. Offense is rolling. Uh, we need to have that offense rolling right about now. Because we're going to play a high-powered offense in Minnesota. I'm ready. Um, I'm very confident in our running game with Gibbs and Montgomery. Those guys, man. And Gibbs has a gear, man, in the jump cuts and the stuff he does, and he runs in between the tackles just like anybody else will.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just not an outside runner. He runs in between he runs tough between the tackles. So next week will be a big game. I say, Foster, we do a um I know I don't know if Dave wants us on his show, though. I don't want to invite ourselves to his show.
We do
But
the
we'll
NFC. We do the NFC North show with them, so I'm sure there'll be some nice banter, if nothing else.
And yeah, we'll probably do a pregame show on Sunday and then do a show after that. So we don't. I was thinking too far ahead, but we definitely going to keep you guys posted with any development uh, as far as Hutch. We'll let you know what's going on if we hear it first, and we'll definitely see if the Lions plan on doing anything to replace uh, to acquire a defensive end. They had already did acquire 2 defensive ends last week, and they're on the practice squad. So I don't know how good they are. I never heard of them, but I know they did bring 2 people along that played the rush in position. They were linebackers that were pass rush specialists. So we'll see how that goes, Foss. But I am not going to hold the crowd too late. This was a great victory. I do need a chance to, you know, kind of calm it down a little bit. Uh, I am off tomorrow, so if I hear anything this evening about Hut, I'll be reporting it tomorrow morning. So, what's the Sunday night game?
I don't know. I'm about to go watch the Pistons game. I ain't gonna hold you.
What time the Pistons play?
8:30. That's the Warriors.
Let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. But before we go, I want to tell you guys, subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube and follow us on the podcast aggregators, Bleachers Speakers, FFSN. Make sure you're following, make sure that notification bell's on. So when we drop, you'll be able to get an alert, download the episodes. Foster, 4-1?
4-1. I do have some parting words. This was a statement. This was a statement game for the Lions. If there was any question, if this was personal, it obviously was. I mean, we really stuck it to them at home. That couldn't have felt very good for them. We knocked Dak out of the game after picking him off 3 times. And it was a complete effort from the entire team. This was the best we've seen our secondary all year. We were completely healthy today. Brackenstraw was back. Brian Branch was back. Arnold did well. Carlton Davis did well. These are the type of efforts that we are going to need to see on a day in and day out basis. Despite the fact that the Cowboys have not been good at home this year, it is still not an easy place to go in and win, let alone beat them by 30 plus points. And yeah, I mean, the entire defensive line really, rallied and played well today. Kyle Pecco, Josh Pascal, McNeil, everybody did their part. Hutch, of course, did their part today. And this is what we're going to need moving forward. Because where we are going to lack in certain areas, we're going to need more offense. We're going to need the secondary to continue to step up, because it's going to be important to stay true to our philosophies of being aggressive, blitzing, and putting the pressure on the quarterback to attack our secondary. And we just need to continue to do what we're doing, because we are taking the ball away. We're forcing fumbles and getting turnovers in the red zone as well. So great effort from the team as a whole. And we'll just wait to see where things go. Now that our leader is out.
Well said, Foster. And like I said, next man up. Hey, it is what it is. It's a tough sport.
Get your lick back. If a nugget on you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back.